Many thanks for joining me today on Homo Politicus. This is Enterprise Television. Kingsley Bass is my name. Yesterday, the Ogun State chapter of the All Progressives Congress took the unprecedented step of suspending former governor and current senator of Ogun East Senatorial District, Gbenga Daniel, alongside Honorable Kunle Folarin. The suspensions, ratified by the party's state working committee chaired by Chief Yemi Sanusi, were based on allegations of anti-party activities, especially or specifically their failure to engage with ward-level disciplinary committees in attempts to influence members to withdraw petitions against them. Well, for some, especially pro-suspenders, they say that the party acted within its constitutional framework, setting up disciplinary committees, issuing written invitations, and making decisions based on due process to preserve party integrity. Critics, though, points to political motivations underlying the move, suggesting it could be less about misconduct and more about internal power struggles, especially considering Gbenga Daniel's recent accusations against Governor Dapo Abiodun, including alleged demolition threats to his properties. And so today, let's talk core politics. Just last week, we were talking about this, what some see as a vendetta against the former governor, Gbenga Daniel's, by the incumbent governor. Well, I'm joined by someone who was part of that conversation the last time, Homo Politicus. He joins me virtually today to have this conversation. I'm talking about the true son of Ogun State, Jebu boy, precisely, Gbenga and Yonuga Paul. Gbenga, many thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Appreciate that. Where do we begin, really? Let's begin where we left things the last time. We talked, extensively about those demolition plans, the court stopping that, right? At some point, giving an order, a restraining order for the, to the state government, stopping the state government from proceeding to demolish properties belonging to Otumba Gbenga Daniels. Well, now it's a different route. Demolition didn't happen, but suspension as a party man from the ward level, his, if you like, hometown, down to the ward level, he's now been suspended. What do you make, of what's been happening, this back and forth? I remember the last time you did say that this is about 2027 and that senatorial seat. Do you still maintain that? And what do you know about the situation? What can you say?
Well, I think for us to understand the issue between OGD and the governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, we need to take a cursory look back at 2019, where the APC and the governor himself, went to lobby Otumba Gbenga Daniel, knowing fully well that without his support, he may not be able to win Ogun East Senatorial District. And so, whatever the background lobbying and the agreement that were made during that time, what we know in the public domain was that Otumba Gbenga Daniel decamped from the PDP to the APC, stating that certain party leaders were pressuring him to lead them from PDP to the APC then. And as somebody on the ground, we know nobody can deny the fact that if it were not for the block vote from Gbenga Daniel loyalists in the Ogun East Senatorial District, the candidate fielded by the former governor Kunle Folarin of the APM candidate would have carried the day. And so after that happened, it got to 2023 when OGD wanted to contest for senatorial district. It seems from our view that the governor was very reluctant in handing over the ticket of the party to OGD, despite the fact that he seems to be the best candidate that will give the party a stressless win in that election. But the calculation is that a strong person like OGD, it will be hard for the governor to collect back the senatorial tickets from him after he finishes his tenure and he wants to go to Senate himself, knowing fully well that they all came from the same senatorial district. And you see, the governor is not the only one who is doing this calculation. Don't forget that during Amosun's time, Amosun gave the tickets to the son of that's Dr. Teju Osho. Yes, Dr. Larry Teju Osho. The Amosun gave the ticket of the Ogun Central Senatorial District to Dr. Larry Teju Osho with the agreement that he's only going to do one term. It was rumored that time that he promised that Larry Teju Osho will come back to be deputy governor and what have you. But then it was easy for him to collect back the ticket after he finished his governorship tenure in 2019 and then go straight to the Senate, because the person he placed there as the senatorial candidate for Ogun Central is not as powerful as himself, the governor at that time, when you are talking about political popularity and street popularity. The same thing, but in this instance, it seems that Otunba Gbenga Daniel has more street credibility and popularity than the governor. And so the governor was not willing to give him the ticket in 2023. And when he was eventually pressured by the power that be at the national level, vis-a-vis the now president, who was the party leader and presidential candidate at the time, when he gave the ticket to OGD, for those of us who are political keen watcher of what was happening in the state at the time, we all, sorry for that, we all knew how the governor was sabotaging every effort of OGD to campaign. In fact, when OGD went to Ijebu to campaign, he wanted to use a government secondary school, but it was alleged that the governor, blocked that chance, and OGD had to go back to his people in the Omo Ilu Foundation, that's the Blue Jikashamu, and these people are PDP people. They are the one that granted him last-minute auditorium for him to be able to use to do his campaign in Ijebu-Igbo that time. The same thing when OGD wanted to flag off his campaign in Shagamu for the 2023 election. We saw how the governor tried to block that campaign. So if you are looking at it from that, and because the reason why I'm going this as far back as 2019 is that a lot of people in the governor's camp are saying that OGD was not loyal to the governor in the 2023 election because, after the presidential election where APC won all the senatorial and the House of Rep seats and even the presidential election, a week later, APC could not win the governorship election in most places in Ogun East, and of course they lost about almost 9 seats or thereabout to the PDP, mostly from Ogun East in the last election, out of about maybe 11 or 12 seats that are in Ogun East. The APC actually lost almost 9 of it, and this is what many of them are using as excuse to say that OGD, the senator, was not loyal to the governor. But for the keen watchers of politics, ordinary everyday street people who are lovers of OGD does not need to tell them to not vote for APC in the governorship election, because as far as we were concerned, yes, the governor has stepped up in this second term. He's doing a lot of things, a lot more things for us in Ogun East this second term than he did for us in the first term. But in that first term, his result is nothing to write home about that will ginger or encourage people to vote for him. So they're now saying that OGD is doing anti-party, is just trying to give the dog a bad name so that they can hang it.
One more thing we need to talk about, right, or proceeding with the conversation really, you have, need to say, done a fine job expanding the conversation and laying a foundation to maybe just what is responsible for the current state of things. But one of the things said by the party at the state level, in fact, the world level now, is that Daniel, that's Gbenga Daniel and Honorable Folarin, failed to respond to written invitations. They failed to provide written defenses or attend disciplinary meetings. And they regard that as a dereliction that justifies indefinite suspension. From another standpoint, though, right, their silence, some have said may signify a deliberate political stance. Perhaps, maybe, we never know, a refusal to legitimize what they perceive as a biased process. What can you say to this, understanding how politics work, especially at the grassroots level, with these powers? We're talking about a former governor of the state and serving senator.
Well, I think, they will always find a way to give the dog a bad name to hang it. They are saying that he did not fund the party or assist in the last election. Did they allow him? That's the question we should ask. Even the effort that he makes, because I told you I went out for this last election, and one of the reasons that made me a curious cat to go about in this last election to see what was happening, even though it is not my federal constituency politically, is that I want to see whether through body language or through outright support, OGD will show any form of anti-party. And as far as I'm concerned, I went to Shagamu, I went to Iperu, I went to Ipara, I went to Elisha. In the course of that election on Saturday, I did not see or hear from my sources any thing to suggest that OGD did any anti-party activity, either subtly or otherwise, supporting the opposition. If they are saying he did not release fund, he did not come all out to campaign, I believe that fault lies strictly with the governor and his people, because the senator will only go to where he is wanted. Don't forget that when they were setting trap for Senator Sherubawan, that's the Senator Adeleke, the elder one who died, and he was trying to do peace move and still attend parties, even though he knows that he is surrounded by enemy. It was at one of such events that he was alleged to have been poisoned that led to his death. Whether that is true or not, the Yoruba will say, meaning that you learn from the mistakes of others. So if he is seeing hostility from the leadership of his party at the moment, which we know that the leadership of the party at the state level, the leader of the party at the state level is the governor. If he is seeing hostility from them, then you won't blame him for staying indoor, just going out to cast his vote and then staying indoor and not doing anything else other than that. Because if he were to be allowed to do more, he would have done so much more. But they are not waiting. They have set the trap, looking for whether he will go overtly to support the opposition, because both the opposition candidate and even the APC candidate are all his people. They are all his boys, his girls, who have worked with him. I can tell you that almost 40% of those who are working with the current governor have worked with OGD before. So they are all his people. So they are expecting maybe he will go overtly to support the opposition, which he did not do, as far as I know.
Gbenga, one more thing, and that's a point I just raised. The party is saying, oh well, you were given, there was a petition against you that you have allegedly worked against the party, what is popularly called anti-party activity. Yeah. Now they say he refused to write to defend himself. They say he refused, to honor invitation alongside Honorable Folarin. Shouldn't he have done that, understanding that, as you've said, this might be a trap? just do what you have to do, go through the disciplinary measures, put in place for this purpose? Shouldn't the experienced two-term governor, now serving senator, have done that?
Well, as far as I know, even the party escorts at Ward 4 and I think Ward 7, that they allege to have suspended the governor, I don't think in reality they can. But you know how this thing plays out, that it is the governor.
Why can they not? Why can they not? Suspension happens at the grassroots level, though.
I am telling you that it's a different thing. Government all over the world, it's not just Ogun State government, it's not just Nigerian government. Government all over the world will always lie to get somebody out of the way. This whole charade is about 2027. And the thinking of the governor is that if he gets OGD out of the way, that he will be the undisputed, champion to clinch the party ticket for the senatorial seat. And what they are not factoring in is that OGD being out of the way in APC will likely give more votes to whatever opposition should OGD decide to pursue his senatorial ambition in another party. Because I am confident, 100% confident, that bring the incumbent governor and the former governor to the polls 1 million times, OGD will always defeat the incumbent governor. I don't have any special love for OGD, neither do I have any special love for the incumbent governor. I am speaking based on what I see on the street, what I perceive as the street credibility. I'm from Ogun East Senatorial District. I'm from Ijebu Central Federal Constituency. And I have people across all the 9 local governments, across all the almost 200 wards that we have in this place. So, and I can tell you for free, and the governor knows, because if not for the going all out to do what we cannot say, on TV to win the last election, the governor will still have lost his Ikene local government in that last by-election, but we know how the whole scenario played out. I was in election. I saw things that, because I did not do video of, I can't be repeating them, that I saw it, because when they take you to court now, they will say, where is the evidence if you are alleging that you saw this, you saw that? But how would you expect me to hold video, to do video of people carrying arms, non-government agency, non-state actors carrying arms and ammunition? How do you expect me to do video? I'll be a fool to do that. So I won't be able to say it, but we know that that's what went down, and they were able to win that local government. And so, for me, I believe that the governor is feeling jittery. And for me, I believe he's also creating more enemies for himself, because many people who did not rate him enough during the first time have now started to rate him better, because he's doing massive projects in the Ogun East axis now, like many roads that he has constructed within Ijebu, the local government, for example, and several other places. So that has started endearing people to him. But I believe that he is messing it up with all these unnecessary fights that he is doing. If he had concentrated on those projects and doing more for Ogun East, knowing fully well that he wants to come out, maybe he would have changed the people's mindsets. Ignore the current senator. He would have changed the people's mindset and brought a lot more people to his camp before next year.
Just before we go, right, let's look at the bigger picture. We're talking two heavyweights, and not just some grassroots politicians. Two, now two-term governor incumbent, former two-term governor and incumbent or serving senator, and we know that they are tied to the central, to the party at the center, and the leader of the party, of course, is a man that they too are quite close to. If we put things that way politically, we're talking about President Bola Tinubu. From your standpoint, how can this be resolved? How do you think this can be resolved, or this would be resolved at the end of the day? Would President Bola Tinubu intervene? Well, maybe at this point he's not. We're not seeing signs that he would do that or he's doing that. Maybe towards the election in 2027. But Do you think that will happen? Do you think this is just the beginning of what could be a more intense political war, or this could be doused soon?
Anyway, if you have observed our president over time, you would have known that he's not a Ludo or an Ayolokmo player. He's a chess player. He doesn't play draft. He doesn't play Ludo. He's a chess player. And for you to be a good chess player, you need to have about 20 moves ahead or 50 moves ahead before you make your first move. And I think that the president has his move close to his pocket on this matter. So what I know will happen is that the president will ignore both of them as if he no send them, you know. But when the time comes, probably by May 2026 to June, July 2026, then we will now begin to see the hands of the president in full force. And I think this is how the hand of the president is going to play out by that time. If OGD maintains his street credibility and love amongst the people, I'm sure the president has his people who are giving him feedback to know who is likely to win more for the party between the incumbent governor and the former governor. And if from their report, because what the incumbent governor is trying to do is try to impress the president like, I'm in control of the party, I'm in control of my region and all the rest. But, you know, you can do all whatnots, you can run around the bush. The president have bigger intelligence reports at his disposal to know the true situation of things, except he chooses not to look at that axis. And so if the president finds out that the governor, you know, pitching his tent with the governor, giving the governor the go-ahead to contest for senator in the party, will give him more electoral currency, as in the president, more electoral currency in his re-election bid, then it's likely we are going to see the president back Prince Dapo Abiodun. But if he sees that at the end of the day, whatever the governor tries to do is likely, his chance is better with OGD as the senatorial candidate for a second term, then I am sure that the president is going to, you know, align and lean more with the former governor OGD. And that's what I see the president doing, because the president did not send anybody. All he cares about is winning his re-election. And if anybody is going to stand as a cog in the wheel, that person can easily be sacrificed, irrespective of whether the person is an incumbent governor or a former governor, knowing fully well that whoever is sacrificed at the end of the day will be promised most likely a ministerial seat during that second term. So for me, I think that the president will just look away for now, allow them to play their politics, but he is gathering his intelligence report by the second, irrespective of the cajoling or the lying by the teeth behind the finger that everyone from the OGD camp or from the governor's camp try to do. The president has access to quality intelligence reports, and that will guide his decision at the end of the day. But we shouldn't rush for that decision now. We should wait for around May, June, July 2026. Then you will see the full arm of the president coming to bear on who gets the ticket of the party at the end of the day from Ogun senatorial district.
On your knowledge of politics, especially within the ruling party and indeed Ogun State, we'll take that and hold that close to chest and monitor development. Well, at the end of the day, it looks like it's all about political interest, about the numbers, who can bring the numbers at the grassroots level, can produce the figures to help win political seats. Gbenga Daniel, true son of Ijebu, and one who is quite vested, has a vested interest, so to say, in what's happening in Ogun State. I'd like to thank you so much for joining the conversation today on Homo Politicus.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Well, you can stop by the comment section. I'm not sure where you're watching from right now, from that particular senatorial district where the law is happening, or from Lagos, from Abuja, Port Harcourt, Calabar, Sabah, Kogi, Lokoja, not sure where, but or you're watching from Dublin, or from what about other parts of the world you're watching from? Just stop by the comment section. Let me know what you think of this and how you perceive that this could close. At the end of the day, it's about politics. Stop by the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'll be there reading and responding to your comments as well. Kingsley Bass is my name. Until next time on Homo Politicus, we say that God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye for now.